Well, hello, and welcome back to what I call the nation-building strongest platform. Mumpo, we shall build this nation. It's not an option. We shall build this nation. And as we say all the time, all we do here is to tell the truth and let the chips fall where the bloody hell may. Because we say all the time again, the truth crashed to earth shall rise again. Yesterday was the mid-year budget review. We'll talk about that later, but just a quick comment, I just loved it when I saw Arthur Forson walking in, no fanfare. Just the finance minister was in the bag, or say there are points in the bag. We'll get a chance to talk about this later. But let me make a few comments on what happened in Parliament. Folks, let me say this. I was quite scandalized. I thought it was so disgraceful for me that the minority decided that they're going to appear in black. Well, it's not, I don't have anything against black. No, black is beautiful. But in our customs, black signifies mourning. Black signifies bad news, So to appear in black is actually we are mourning. There's bad news. That did not upset me as much as when I heard people chanting, "Free Wontumi." I said, oh God, it is a shame, it is a disgrace. Free Wontumi. Now look at the irony of the whole thing. Here is a group of people who are promising that the tables will turn and Ghanaians will gladly go and vote for them to come back and rule.
The table will turn.
Definitely.
2028, it will turn.
Definitely.
Bamia is coming.
The table will turn.
And I can assure you that we shall bounce back in 2028. But when the tables turn,
the tables will turn. The tables will turn. Only communication. I'm telling you, the tables will turn.
2028, you'll be in opposition. 2028. If you are not careful, Mr. Speaker, if you don't stop now, you will go and meet Wontumi there, and Wontumi will be out, and you will go in.
Now listen to this. The people that Ghanaians are going to vote for to come back and rule are the people who are openly supporting criminality in Parliament. Free Wontumi. It's like Wontumi, this innocent man who has done no wrong and has been jailed. And the other totally nonsensical thing that is becoming a mantra, totally nonsensical. Wontumi is a political prisoner.
you say we are seeing Chemba Wontumi, Abanku Koma the Dakotrino, a Yamayo Sebi, and then when you be Mapakoye. Or your political prisoner, Amayo 70, and then Nakoto Abanku Kum. A Yamayo 70, and then this Aban and Nakoto Abanku Kum.
I have to laugh at that too. Wontumi is a political prisoner, so Wontumi is in jail because of his MPP. What rubbish! And this is what saddens me before I continue. That before the MPP was, whether we like it or not, whether true or not, known as the party of intellectuals. It was almost a crime to be a dignified businessman, a dignified lawyer, a dignified doctor, and be in the NDC. Because a lawyer nipa na war NDC no. It was the party, allegedly then, the party of riffraffs. MPP was the party that had the men. They knew the law. They knew the constitution. And to look back and see that today, the party that knows the law, the party that knows the Constitution, are the same party that is shouting that we should free a criminal. Where they are alleged, the courts have spoken. So WONTUMI is a criminal. Apart from the court speaking, we all know the harm he has done.
I want to assure him and all of you that Akonta Mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak.
A few moments later.
This is the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve in the heart of the western region of this beautiful land of Ghana. This is what betrayal looks like. This is what Akonta Mining Company has done to the Nimri Forest Reserve. What should have been here should have been trees, ancient trees, older than our grandparents, trees that whispered our history, trees that held rains and fed our rivers. Now, they are just corpses in a graveyard. This is the Tano River, which once gave life to the people of Summerboy and its environs. Children swam here, women cooked with it, farmers watered their crops with it and drank from it. The fufu and palm nut soup we so enjoy was birthed here. Today, it carries the blood of the land, murdered for gold by greed of Akonta Mining Company Limited. Thick brown poison swirling where crystal waters once flowed. These men, they may be criminals, and yet they are also victims, desperate souls, paid peanuts to dig their nation's grave. But the real criminals, they sit in air-conditioned offices, counting their blood money.
What you say? Solid money. Mami Fabio Munchro. What you say? Solid. What you say? Solid money. Solid. What you solid money? Mami Fabio Munchro. Solid.
And for the party that wants to come and rule Ghana, stating in parliament, as lawmakers, legislatures, these are the people who make the laws, who want to come back so that they have the opportunity to make laws for Ghana. And one of the things they're doing is telling Ghanaians that we should free a criminal. Not just that, that the criminal is a political prisoner.
What we are experiencing in this country is persecution, persecution, persecution. For the first time, we are seeing political imprisonment. WONTUMI is a political prisoner.
I won't say much. I leave it to all you intelligent people. The thing is, I hate when I lump MPP in one basket like this, because I know many MP people who are rejoicing over the same issue. And if you, the guys in parliament, the legislatures, the brilliant ones, actually think and are convinced that this is the man that you wanted to be your national chairman.
Enti ekwanya ye betimi afa so dia win the power ne de e wo mensem because me matimi anya regime bia atimi ahwe so empremiensa so a I know how to make a decision. The problems and the challenges has set me to be ready to lead MPP to a victory.
Masama, let's move on. Folks, all I keep saying is this. Ghana has gotten to the point where it's a make or break. We are at that point. It's a make or break. And I keep saying that this trajectory that the president has taken, let us back him. Look, Wontumi is a very, very big fish when it comes to corruption. And historically, when you know or you put things in historical perspective, when you are trying people, you leave the big fish so that you can try the small ones. Like this whole Galamsey issue. I think Vijay mentioned once that we are very quick to arrest the people who dig it, the small ones, but the big fish, they stay untouched.
Illegal mining continues to pose a grave threat to our environment, water bodies, public health, and national security. Mr. Speaker, prosecution of persons engaged in illegal mining has been intensified, with a renewed focus on dismantling organized criminal networks behind Galamsey operations, rather than targeting only the little fish, low-level offenders. Mr. Speaker, in all these Galamsey operations, there are big fish who never get caught.
For me, the arrest and imprisonment of Wontumi, which will be followed by other arrests and imprisonment of people who looted this country, folks. These are not innocent political victims. But let's be real here. This frustrates anybody who really has gone at heart. So what the legislatures who are saying free Wontumi are telling us that the MPP is holy. We are holier than thou. We commit no crime. Anything we do, and even if it's the wrong thing, and you comment on that, you're being political, because we are to be untouched.
Kutre NDC ntimi nchi wa MPP. Ohima we NDC aye anu kwa oku jato black omu jato mu what is oral na oral me man ka tell say oral is yamutu. Oral is a scam.
We are the ones that are above the law. That is what you're saying. Please, let's move on. And I'm saying this, that we have a signal now that Ghana is ready for change. And the number one thing we are going to see as Ghana prepares for the change is that no one is above the law. Every time we say the rule of law, the rule of law, the rule of law, you're kind of keke. I remember studying, what is that subject long ago in sixth form, government. there was a course called government, and I took government in sixth form. And I remember my government teacher explaining the rule of the law, and he broke it down, and he says, it simply means it is the law that rules. It is not the president, it is not the Asatini, the Achimini, the Togona, it is not the business, it is nothing else. The rule of the law simply means the rule of the law. It is the law that rules. And this is what I thought. That people who believe that they have the men and who are intellectual and who are lawyers and who are legislators, the first thing that they would understand is that we are now experiencing the rule of the law. There's no way Wontumi would have been imprisoned if we weren't under the rule of the law. Kalobe, Onana Kana say who born dog?
Who born dog? Who born dog? Who born dog?
Who born dog to go even try Wontumi? Calls himself the governor of Kumasi, and at one point said even when the president was coming to Kumasi, national security had to come and beg him for permission.
Mama, now who's say the other year meaning I know still have me. That's who hold me captaincy. Say I'm still remain as a captain. Like I said, me back contam mining. Me guru na matwaro ye na me akwa hu me usro me wo ye president kwa na oba ha national security for no mo negotiate with me ansa no aba Now you negotiate with me as an enter. Now who just want to me a team kitwa. Who say over to me? No man let this and this for no. Na me no ye na this for to make say obi to be no o pa na mo ye omo ye one na ye do me want me dia ogwa want to me slow na problem run na want to me mama say me no me anu gira ho ya fa so da for di wachi na hwesa me wachi me a say me ba ye na juma ye we will push ubati me a push want me.
It's above every law. So what law could have touched him? But the rule of law simply means that the law is not ruling. That's why I'm saying that for the first time, many Ghanaians and many people are starting to understand that maybe the reset is beginning with making the law rule. And that's what it is. So the law is a law.
No matter how many noises are made, the law is the law.
And I always play back our favorite quotation of the law being the law. Simply means the rule of the law. Let me give you one quick example here. The people who were talking about Mahama and Lodina in the most disgusting way, threatening the lives and things, were picked up by the police. Because the law is that when you threaten the life of somebody, you have violated the law. When you threaten the life of somebody, you have broken the law. When you defame somebody on false accusations, you have broken the law. Whether you like it or not, folks, that is the law. So for me, it was quite interesting that the NDC guy, in reaction to what the MPP ladies were doing, also came back to bash Bawumia and said so many things that were false and demean Bawumia. But the interesting thing is this, folks. Bawumia immediately wanted to show that he was more tolerant and that he understands, immediately came up and said he doesn't mind at all. The man can say anything about him, he doesn't mind. And I'm okay with that. Bawumia, if you are that tolerant and you can entertain that, that's your business, so I'm glad. But what Bawumia forgot is this, that the guy's action is not a personal action against Bawumia. It was an action against the law. So it was the law that caught up with him. So when Bawumia says, I've issued a statement that the IGP and the court should release him, Your Honorable, Your Excellency, how? Let me give you a quick story, Ghanaians. Many of you know, many of you don't know. When, what is his name? Pope John Paul. Not this Pope. When I say Pope, they are all Pope. But there was one Pope John Paul who was shot. There was an attempted assassination of Pope John Paul. I'm sure you remember that. What happened? The attempted assassin was arrested. He was tried. He was put to jail. What did Pope John Paul do? Pope John Paul went to prison to visit the man who tried to kill him. I don't know, so-called Hagino, I don't know what happened. So your Pope, he believes in the Bible, and the Bible says forgive and forget, whatever. So Pope went to the prison to visit the man who attempted to assassinate him. But what? But folks, there was no way the Pope, in his infinite wisdom, could have said that, or have instructed the police to release him. The last, the Pope, who are you? The guy tried to kill you. Assassination attempt is against the law. So he's in prison because he broke the law, and the law is trying him. So it wasn't, even though he tried to kill the Pope, it wasn't about the Pope. There was nowhere along the line the Pope could have said, oh, as for me, I've forgiven him. So why is he still in jail? It doesn't happen like that. And similarly, Dr. Bawumia, I think something like that happened with you. Came up as very tolerant, and you actually said the guy should be released. People should have the freedom to talk. You actually went on to say that you wish him well, and that he should be a free man. That's a country you want to build. On one side, Mr. Bomey, I agree with you. We want to build a country that is free, that people can express themselves. But even the creators of freedom told us that your freedom to swing your arm ends where my nose begins. So you have the right to swing your arm, but you have no right to hit my nose. Simply meaning that even when it comes to freedom, there are certain things that you don't go beyond. And the idea that if you like go to America right now, land of democracy, and let somebody who is upset with Donald Trump and the wife Melania, they should die and they should be put in sacks. Go and say that on a US radio, because US is a democratic country. It's a free for all. They believe in democracy. Go and say that on US radio and see how long you will last after that. But before, if you want to learn something, you don't go and learn the things the way it should be. You go beyond how it should be. So we should be more tolerant and everybody should speak their mind. You, Mate. The man was arrested and put in jail not because he spoke his mind, but because he defamed your character. And if you don't mind, it's okay. Like Pope didn't mind, it's okay. But the fact that you're actually instructing the IGP to release them is beyond you. So let's learn that lesson and move on, folks. Let's learn that lesson and move on. You see, as we are maturing as a country, there are certain things that we really need to think about and become aware of as a nation. Charlie, corruption, believe it or not, is the #1 cause of why we have so many African countries called underdeveloped. Underdeveloped country. What do you mean by underdeveloped? Just say, you are not developing. And the #1 cause of that is corruption. Folks, the amount of money stolen and looted.
The 36 cases that we have reviewed in detail, if we are successful in recoveries, we can retrieve as much as 20.49 billion United States dollars. 20.49 billion United States dollars. 36 cases, and that's from National Cathedral, PDS, SML. You have the GMPC salt pond decommissioning. Then we've also done an estimate of the state capture, the lands. If we successfully ask people to pay conservative market value for the lands they have looted, again, the experts are telling us that we can recover about 702.8 million United States dollars for the Ghanaian people.
Do you know that amount of money, do you know how many schools under trees could have been rehabilitated and built? People die. The ambulance will take them from hospital A to hospital C to hospital D, and each step they are told, oh, we are sorry, we have no beds and penny hole.
Patients lying on the bare floor. Bare floor, no mattress, nothing to receive health care. In modern Ghana, this is so serious. Mother and baby on the floor, bare floor, no mattress. A newborn baby, day 0 on the floor. This is serious. In modern day Ghanaian healthcare, something has to be.
You have a patient dying, but hospitals say a penny hole, and they die. And I don't want to, a friend is saying, bring up people's bad memories of their loved ones who have died because there was no bed. But I'm saying all of this, folks. Do you know the amount of money that has been lost in corruption? Do you know how many more hospital beds it would have been able to fill? Do you know how many hospitals we could have built? The schools. We waste more money in corruption than the money we go and borrow from IMF. Just sit down and go through all the budgets that have been read and how this road from Yankomasi to Pempemado, from Wanhwai to Wanhwai is and then. Nothing is done because people get the money and they chop it. It's corruption.
These recycled claims originated from the following MDAs. Ministry of Roads and Highways, 3.6 billion Ghana cedis. Ministry of Health, 384.8 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Energy, 216.7 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Food and Agriculture, 57 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Defense, 40.9 million Ghana cedis. Independent Power Producers, 36.4 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Finance, 26.4 million Ghana cedis. And Ministry of Interior, 3.1 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, but for our vigilance, the Ghanaian taxpayer would have lost a colossal 4.4 billion Ghana cedis in these recycled claims. Mr. Speaker, auditors identified duplicated and overstated claims by MDAs totaling 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. These MDAs include the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, an amount of 408.3 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Energy, 386.7 million Ghana cedis. The National Service Scheme, 334.5 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Roads and Highways, 125.65 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Health, 114.2 million Ghana cedis. And the NCC, 8.8 million Ghana cedis.
So, please, the research agenda is saying this, that from now on, whoever you are, whatever your party, don't come and be in office and be immune from corruption and loot the country. As for the loot, let me tell you, if you go to heaven and hell, we will recover the loot. What are we talking about? Just a few things. What did I think called PDS? Can you imagine the amount of loot that took place?
If I become president, we investigate PDS, especially when it's obvious that persons very close to the president, related to the president, were involved in structuring the PDS deal. And we've heard audio of them in telephone conversations, talking about the shareholding and all that. We've all heard it. I mean, so there's enough evidence to investigate PDS. And the people of Ghana need to know what happened, because this was a situation in which the assets of a state-owned company were being handed over to a private company. As I speak today, for the period that PDS collected money when they were running the ECG, that money that runs in billions of Ghana cedis has not been accounted for. I mean, people cannot just pocket state monies and just walk away free with it. The people of Ghana deserve to know what happened in PDS.
Think about how many schools they could have built. This free SHS that we have, double track, some can go this time, another one can go that time. We cannot accommodate all of you at the same time. Why? Because we don't have the infrastructure to hold that. And the funny thing is that we have had enough looting, and the money we have looted would have been enough to build additional infrastructure in all SHS campuses in Ghana. But corruption, it goes. And the sad part of it is that a party that wishes to come to power, not in 10 years or in a couple of years, is telling us that whoever we have accused of for corruption, they will show us that, Charlie, you can't touch us.
And so if you're a former government official and you're invited by this so-called aura, advice to you from the minority is to boycott any invitation from the aura team. We are not going to be part of it.
The incoming minority caucus has a mantra, and I will disclose a mantra to them: touch one, touch all. We are not going to allow you to use unconstitutional means to shut us up.
Please stop the comedy. I'm a comedian. So when I say stop the comedy, I know what I'm talking about. It's a comedy. So you now what you have vowed yourself to free Wontumi and all the list of other people who have committed crimes against the state. All the people who have looted the state. We should free them. SkyTrain, you say near pump money. You see Paul Goodram near pump money. You were near pump money. So much money has been pumped into corrupt pockets. And if a government has come that is saying that enough is enough, enough of the loot, we're going to take care of it, you as legislators will wear black and stand firm and say we will protect the looters. And send a warning shot that if you think that arresting the looters is going to weaken us, you are lying. It is going to make us strong.
Tell your government to free all political prisoners. Dr. Atu Forsen, tell your government to free all political prisoners. Wontumi deserve justice. Camilla Al-Azhar deserve justice. The MPs behind me that you have lined them up for persecution, listen, you can decide to imprison every MP. It will not shut us down.
You strong to do what? To fight and encourage more looting. It is sad, man. It is sad. Speaking of the law, let me tell you a very interesting story. When we talk about those who understand that the rule of the law is emotion. Let me tell a very interesting story. It happens quite a bit of time in the United States of America. There were some prisoners. I think one was called David Long, the other one was called something Breachan. I don't remember the names properly. But here's the thing, folks. They were in prison and they had been condemned to death. So check this out, two things. Number one, they were in prison. Number two, they have been condemned to death. So they are waiting to be killed. I'm just giving you these two examples. So what happened? At different times, one of them tried to commit suicide. He couldn't bear the thought of being executed until he tried to commit suicide. Listen to this. So when he tried to commit suicide and his body was lying there in the cell and they discovered it, guess what happened? The prison service put him in the ambulance and rushed him to the hospital. I swear to God. They rushed him to the hospital frantically. And he was in the hospital for days where they pumped his stomach and went through all the things and then eventually saved his life. When he saved his life, the prison service went back to the prison. They returned him. And guess what happened? He was returned and 3 days later, they executed him. When I said, we're America for my Jimmy. But no, the law is the law. The law says that once somebody is a prisoner under your watch, your prison, it is your responsibility to take care of them. So when you wake up in the morning, even though he was on death row and has attempted suicide and he's lying down dying, your duty by the law is to rush him to the hospital. Make sure they do all they can, and when they finish, you bring him back to prison. And then on the day that you execute him, you go and kill him. But that's the best example I can give you when I talk about the law being the law. And that's why for me it's so ridiculous when I have very, very intelligent legislatures who are the men forget that Wontumi has been sentenced by the law and they shout, "Free Wontumi" in Parliament. And go. It is absolutely disgraceful. But hey, you felt good doing that, and you have promised you do more of it. So that one I'll leave to you. The only thing I say is fine. Just be ready to do more. I'm telling you, be ready to do more protest, because more of the people who have looted and who belong to the same party will also come up sooner than you think. Omodoso, who have looted this country through corruption, they are all going to get their day in court and hopefully suffer the consequence. So please, just decide that now your black will be permanent. The Biamusha black. That's all. The Biamusha black. And while you're on this, I always remember that I'll throw in a word of advice to JM and the NDC as well. Please. Thanks to JM. You're now for cut both ways.
But let me say that the sword of accountability will cut both ways, against both past and the present government.
So NDC, don't celebrate the fact that now the law is the law, so blah, blah, blah. You are also under the law. And that is the Ghana we want to build on. That is the Ghana I want my children to grow up in. Not children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I want them to grow in the country, and they vote for people who are intelligent enough, who want to build this nation. I don't want my children to grow up in a country and vote for people who insist that they will defend criminals. That one they insist that. No, folks. So if you have decided and you have sent the warning out already that this thing will scare you.
The MPs behind me, that you have lined them up for persecution, listen. You can decide to imprison every MP. It will not shut us down.
Who's trying to scare somebody? All we're trying to do is to respect the law and change this country so that everyone is subject to the law. That's what we're trying to do. And that's all that resetting is about. We need a new face, so we need a new face. And whether you like it or not, Ghanaians are ready for this new face. And we'll move on. Speaking of that, let me talk about the issue that has become very big with tribunals. The government, I think it was the Attorney General who said that we may have to bring in tribunals because the backlog of cases is so overwhelming. Even the courts can't handle the backlog. And it's dangerous for any society when the courts that are supposed to provide you justice, they don't have time to go into the cases and resolve them the way they should. So somebody threw out that, well, maybe we should now start empowering judges under special tribunals. Yay! And there are many, many people who understandably have risen up against it. But today I want to comment on this whole tribunal issue. Let me say this, folks. Here is the TUC and whoever elements of civil service that say they are against tribunals.
The TUC is manifestly opposed to the idea of resuscitating tribunals, given our collective bitter experiences with tribunals. The tribunals bill in its current shape and form strengthens our conviction that tribunals must be abandoned.
Let me stand here today and say, yes, I understand them. But let me explain something. Let me explain something. Why I say I understand them. I understand them simply because the word tribunal has a very, very, very bad historical reference. Maybe some of you are so young you don't remember, but those of people in my age and older, and maybe even slightly younger, may remember why tribunals is such a scary word. I'll tell you why. Because the whole concept of a tribunal, unfortunately, was abused. This came up when Flight Lieutenant General Rawlings took over Ghana, and what we call, there was a revolution. Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, we have taken over Ghana. We're going to make sure that there's a revolution. And surprisingly, they used the word house cleaning. Go back to your newspapers and things. J.J. Rawlings used the word house cleaning. We are going to clean the house of all corrupt people. You know, if you're corrupt, we shall sentence you to prison or kill you, whatever. So then, tribunals were introduced in Ghana as a mean, harsh, instant judgment. That is how tribunals were introduced. And honestly, there were people that suffered in tribunals. They used to call them the People's Court. It was either a People's Court or a military tribunal. They were the same. Under the People's Court, they can try you like this within a day or two and sentence you, bam, bam, bam. Dignified people. Alhaji Banda, the great businessman and entrepreneur, I think the year after Alhaji Banda was tried, and they accused him of so many things, including hoarding and price increment and all these things, and he suffered. He was sent to jail. Alhaji Suma Banda, that we all know of, may his soul rest in peace, he passed off recently. He was jailed under the People's Court / military tribunal kind of court system. Not just Alhaji Barumao. Other civilians, name of this great politician, Kwame Pianim. Kwame Pianim was tried under the People's Court for corruption, economic, Kwame Pianim went through the People's Court, and within days they had sentenced him. He was in jail. The same Kwame Pianim we know, he was jailed before under an alleged People's Court, military tribunal stuff. You know, even the soldiers got caught in this revolutionary zeal. Not just civilians. Ake Champon was tried by the military tribunal and sentenced to death by firing squad. Not only him, I think the name was Kedal Feli. I think at that time, he went to the bank and borrowed some money. I don't remember the amount, but he was accused of using his office to do wrong things, including borrowing money from the bank. Feli too was shot. Ahmed Ome was shot. This is all during the Rawlings time revolution, where all of us thought a revolution was spill blood. The people that were shouting, let the blood flow, some of them are your fathers or grandfathers now. They were in the street. Let the blood flow. Let me end up with what I'm saying. As Ghanaians who say, let me land. So Ghanaians, TUC, whoever is afraid of the word tribunal, it goes back to this historical reference. Do you see that reference? No nonsense. We are born here, let's deal with you. That was the image of the tribunal. So for me, that's why I say I understand people who are afraid of it. I do understand. But all I'm saying is this. The first thing I'm saying is this. I think people should be assured that this tribunal that is coming up now is not at all the revolutionary tribunal that was set up under the heat of the 1979 revolution. Completely different. And here's the thing, JJ at that time called his house cleaning and brought tribunals. And under JM, he's calling recovering the loot. and we are talking about tribunals. So people have linked the two, say, oh, it's one and the same. So all these looters, you see how the law took its time with Wontumi for over 1 year investigations before sentencing him. Trust me, if Wontumi was being tried for the same charges under JJ the first time, under the People's Tribunal or the Military Tribunal, the whole course of the trial would have been at most 1 month. So I can understand why people are scared, talking about why tribunals. This is evoking a very scary part of our history. We don't need them, blah, 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 blah. Yes, if they're going to be practiced like before, yes, we don't need that. I will stand here and say that no, we do not need that kind of tribunal. But no, that is not the tribunals that have come up. Now, what is being discussed is that special costs and efforts are needed to resolve the backlog in the cases.
Mr. Speaker, tribunals have a history in our country, and I believe that the political history of this country cannot be written without mentioning the role that the public tribunals played in the past. The public tribunals were first established by PNDC Law 24, which is a 1982 law. It was amended by PNDC Law 78, and that created the regional tribunals, the district tribunals, and the community tribunals. Mr. Speaker, the basic distinction between the tribunals and the traditional courts was that the tribunals allowed for the participation of ordinary citizens in the administration of justice. And I believe that when we came into constitutional rule, the drafters of the Constitution saw it fit to provide in the Constitution that justice emanates from the people and must be administered in their name by the judiciary. In doing so, the drafters of the Constitution integrated the public tribunal system by incorporating in the structure of the judiciary the regional tribunal. So, Mr. Speaker, textually, there is a basis in the Constitution for the regional tribunal. So, Mr. Speaker, looking at the Constitution, Article 142 of the Constitution establishes the regional tribunals, and they are granted jurisdiction that is equivalent to the criminal jurisdiction of the High Court. And then also, if you go to Article 126 of the Constitution, it says that Parliament has the power to create such lower courts and tribunals as it shall please. And so, Mr. Speaker, there's a textual basis for the establishment of the tribunals to supplement the work of the current judiciary.
Just as under house cleaning, many corrupt people are afraid, the same thing with oral. Many corrupt people are afraid. So it's like tribunal is going to bring the most, or turn Ghana back into the most dangerous part of our history. No. Me, if I was a NDC, they don't consult too. I'm not consult. Also, we're too low. Because if any person, a member of the NDC had consulted me, I would have told them, but why are you naming a tribunal? You know the word tribunal carries historical references that scare people. Why don't you just say, come on, say, we are setting up special justice panels. The court is backlogged. The same argument that Ayeni is making, the court is backlogged. I say. So for that reason, we are now going to set up some special justice panels chaired by distinguished justices and judges. The fear would have gone. Or just say we are now going to start regional and district adjudication centers. Well, you know, it's a matter so. Oh, then this is going to set up new regional and district adjudication centers to help with the backlog. Kaubi Bekasa. Kubiangasa, oh, he hates tribunal. They are bringing back tribunals. That is the panic. As my dear nephew even said, tribunals are choboy courts. Choboy, giddy.
Today, you want to have a tribunal? A tribunal? Populism, choboy justice. Choboy justice. Mr. Speaker, choboy justice, where people will be sent and people will be thrown into jail.
That's why he said that. It's the fear. And the fear, folks, is rooted in the historical name of tribunal and how it started in Ghana. The NDC4, you have a large task. Educate the people, because please, nobody can tell me that we don't need special courts to help in dealing with these cases of looting that has saddled Ghana in practical bankruptcy. We need courts. The courts need help. And if we have to set up tribunals, so be it. My only thing is that it didn't tribunal anymore. So more friend, special justice courts or whatever. You have more intelligent people on your end who can come up with better names. Come on, consult to me and come up with better name from the beginning, and all this hula baloo about it's going to be a kangaroo court. That's what people are afraid of. Yeah. Now we're going to have kangaroo courts. It has happened before in our history. But now we are facing forward, man.
Some of them have expressed the view that this is an attempt to bring back the tribunals, make it a case of a job for the boys, appoint members affiliated to the current government, that is panel members and chairmen, affiliated to the current government, and then have the members of the opposite party being dragged before the tribunals and then, facing kangaroo justice. I want to assure them that this is a tribunal that is party neutral, all right? That will be, the tribunals, when they are established, will not be targeting any particular political party. They will dispense justice in accordance with law, and they will be fair, and transparent in the dispensation of justice. So that is something that I want to assure every Ghanaian, including the MPP.
We are facing forward. We are resetting and want to go forward in the right way, understanding that the law must rule, and whoever falls short of that should be sentenced by the law. So in Pacho, I just came to say that I understand the fear with the word tribunal, but let's put everything in context and know that the times are different. So on that note, how do I end? All I'll end is this. Your Honor, Attorney General, please call the TUC. The TUC, call all the other people who say they don't understand why you are bringing back tribunal. Sit down with the TUC. Let them understand that the historical baggage of tribunals is not what you are transferring to today. Tribunals have a very bad historical baggage. So let them understand that that is not the baggage you are bringing into today. We all know that JM, whether you like it or not, is one of the most tolerant, democratic, and peace-loving people ever to lead this nation. And we are happy that he is the one at the helm of affairs leading the nation now. Because the Chinese have a proverb. They say the leader is like the wind and the people are like the grass. And they say many times the grass bends in the direction the wind is blowing. That is leadership. So I'm just saying that because we have a leader who is for peace and who is tolerant, that is the effect that will have on us as a people. And I'm saying that to understand that the baggage that tribunal comes with under J.J. Rawlings is gone. It's a new era, but the tribunals are needed. We have to actually double action on trials so that all those who have looted will either return the money and then pay the consequence. Folks, this is KSM saying never give up hope. Whatever happens, we shall build this nation. In spite of all the troubles, this nation will be built. It has started. Let us make sure it continues. Ghana will rise again.
Shamak Israel Yehovah. Elahenu Yehovah Ekat. We ahata et Yehovah. Elohika bika luvika. Uvika navashika. Uvika miyopika. Tode yashach. Tode yashach. Tode yashach. In English, in the name of Jesus. Amen.